Today, we saw stocks come crashing down after making a U-turn. However, there's only 6 more hours left, and this is going to have a huge impact on stocks. Now, we come over and look at the fear and greed index. Once again, we are still well within extreme fear. This is one of the lowest readings we've seen. I think the lowest reading we have seen so far this year is 3, and right now we are sitting at 4. When we come over and look at how the indices fared across the board, today the Dow was down 320 points. We had the NASDAQ down 335 points. S&P 500 down 79 points, with the Russell 2000 being down 4.73. Now, when we look at advanced initiatives versus declining, essentially nowhere to hide. 80.4% of issues were declining on the day, which was a massive bloodbath out here for stocks. Then we come over and look at the heat map, absolutely nowhere to hide. As we take a first glance, all we basically see is red. Now, there is a little bit of green out here. AVGO was green, Netflix was green, but as a whole, it was a very red day out here. Now, it's really no surprise when we come over and look at how the sectors perform across the board. Every single sector was in the red. Energy by far outpacing everything else to the downside, down 2.91%. If we come over and look at energy real quick, take a look at crude oil. Crude oil is still on the move lower, and this is good. And this should be good for us, the consumer at the pumps. But is this warning us of something more nefarious coming up? Is this signaling that we are indeed in an economic slowdown? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now, if we come over and we look at this article right here, S&P 500 rebound collapses in biggest U-turn since at least 1978. Investors can't shake off the tariff jitters. And this is something that we talked about today on the live stream. When we're looking at the NASDAQ up here near these levels and even the S&P, if we look right here, we can see we're right near the prior day's high, and we were short up here on the live stream. Now, if you guys don't want to miss the next time I go live, make sure you subscribe. You have the bell notifications turned on for all. We also have more Take Profit Trader accounts to give away this week. But we're looking for the market to start coming back down, maybe towards the overnight value area high, or at minimum back into the minus development area. And we joked about it. It would be quite funny if we came all the way down and actually closed red on the day. And that's exactly what unfolded. We are actually able to even come down, taking out the point of control from yesterday. And we had another large range out here today. The NASDAQ had a 1,383 point range. So what was the cause of the U-turn out here today? Very simple. If you look at this article right here, Trump's China tariffs are a category 5 price storm for U.S. consumers, warns this analyst. You might say, well, Mike, we already know that U.S. is putting on tariffs on China, and China is hitting the U.S. back with 34% tariffs. But wait, Trump said China had till today at noon to essentially undo those reciprocal tariffs, or else. And or else ends up being that the U.S. is now going to tack on more tariffs, leading to a 104% tariff. Now, there's a couple things that we want to worry about out here in the market when we're dealing with situations like that. And that's going to be a simple fact like this. If you're trading the SPY, for instance, you can see we came crashing right back down. If somehow a deal is worked out tonight or even sometime tomorrow, that could lead stocks to have a huge movement out here in the market. If nothing gets settled, then watch out. This low could be in jeopardy. And something we've been talking about when we look at the MACD indicator on the daily chart, looks horrible. No signs of weakening at this moment. We still have a good separation of the two lines. Then we come over and we look at the volatility index, something we were talking about on the live stream today as well. The VIX was very elevated. Even when the VIX came down a little bit early on, going into about 10:15 or so, the VIX only made it to a low until 36.50-ish or so, and then it started going right back up. Keep in mind, in the 30s is still a very high elevated level for the VIX, so it's really no surprise that we've seen the indices make a U-turn today. We come over and look at the dollar index real quick. Dollar index today, kind of a little bit of a red day, not a huge down day. Then we come over and look at gold real quick. Gold basically having an inside day. The high was lower than the high from the prior day. The low was higher than the low from the prior day, which sets the stage that tomorrow could be a breakout or breakdown from this pattern. Now, jumping back over and taking a look at the SPY real quick, we talked about the daily chart. Come over and look at the 4-hour chart. MACD indicator still looks horrible. No signs of weakening at this moment to the downside. Then as we come over and start looking at the profiles, what is this something I was talking about in yesterday's video and even on the live stream? I said, watch out if the MACD indicator gets towards the 0 line. That could be nothing more than a recharge point for a potential another leg lower. And what do we get today? We came smacking right back down. Now, I do like the way this last candle closed on the 30-minute chart, but notice we are closing well outside of value area low, which indicates that tomorrow or the following day, highly probable we come back and test value area low. If we can breach above that, I want to target the point of control. Then maybe up here towards the highs of today. Then let's not forget, we still have that gap to be filled at 437.69. Now I want to make you guys aware of two of the best prop firm deals out there right now. My funded futures, 25% off. All starter plans, no activation fee, and Take Profit Trader, 30% off all evaluation accounts. Also, no activation fee. If you want to take advantage of these offers, use the links in the description box down below. Now, when we come over and look at the futures markets, notice we had one heck of a retracement on the way back down. We go ahead and pull a fib from the swing low up here to the swing high. We came all the way down to the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement level. So if we start breaching this level tonight or tomorrow, watch out. We're likely going to go all the way back down to the low and potentially flush out those lower prices. However, when we come over and start looking at the daily chart, notice what did we do today? We closed outside of value area lows. So tonight, you guys know the MO. If you guys were on the stream, I already laid out what I'm looking for my nighttime trade tonight. And this is going to end up being one of the targets I will be looking for, value area low. Then we can look to target kind of these minus development areas, point of control at 51.74, and then all the way back up here towards value area high. If we can start breaching above today's high, then watch out for this untested point of control up here at 54.81.5. Now I'm not in the camp where I think we make it all the way up there tomorrow. However, if there is positive developments out there with tariffs, then most certainly we could see a rip your face off short squeeze rally. So we want to be very vigilant. Now, I also would not be the slightest bit upset if we can go ahead and flush these lows and then go ahead and come right back up. Look at the range on the S&P 500 today, 364 points. That is another day with massive ranges out here in the S&P 500. Now we come over and look at the NASDAQ real quick. Look at the way this candle is formed. It's still early on in the week, but we have a huge tail on top of this candle. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is if this bar was already closed, if the week was closed out, this could be a potential warning sign that we are getting ready to get a bounce in the market. MACD on the weekly chart looks horrible. On the daily chart, MACD indicator still looks horrible, good separation of the lines and making new lows. Then on the 4-hour chart, still MACD making new lows and no signs of the MACD indicator flattening out at this moment. Then on the 30-minute chart, we do see where the MACD indicator made it right towards the zero line and then crossed and started coming back down. Now the NASDAQ did not quite make it all the way back down towards the low yet. So could there be more pain to come tomorrow? Now, if you notice, we also closed below value area low, which comes in at 423.57. If we get above that, I want to target this minus development area, 433.08. Point of control, and then all the way up here towards the high, towards the gap being filled at 450.75. Now, if we do start flushing below this low, we got to start asking ourselves, where on the daily chart are we likely to go? And to be honest with you, I don't see any key levels I want to focus on. So instead, I want to come over and look on the weekly chart, and I'm going to grab my Fibonacci retracement tool, measure all the way down here from the swing low up here towards the swing high. Notice we've already violated the 61.8. So the next area I'd like to look at would be right around the 78.6 at about 385.46. It's also an area, a little swing point right here we broke out from. So it would make sense from a structure standpoint to see the market come all the way back down and retest those levels. Now, as we come over and start looking at the 4-hour chart with the weekly profiles, notice we did a pretty good job of getting smacked back down. And notice the NASDAQ was able to get into the minus development area. Try number one, bam, smack back down. Try number two, smack back down. But if we come back up here for a third time, it's likely going to break. And something I forgot to talk about with the S&P 500, if this low from this afternoon does hold, then we have the potential for this A to B equals C to D pattern. And then notice that would bring us all the way up here to about 18,859, which is right near a high volume node from the weekly profile from the last week. Then we come over and start looking at the daily profiles real quick. And what do we got going on here? Well, we can see clearly we are closing well below value area low, which comes in at 17,630.50. We're not even in the ballpark. We are miles and miles away. So this is going to be a high probability target for either tonight, tomorrow, or the following day. If we can get above that, I want to look at this minus development area on the profile, somewhere around 17,876, and then all the way up here towards the point of control, 18,005, then value area high at 18,340. If we can break above today's high, then I do want to start holding runners all the way up here towards this untested point of control, 18,875. Now, if you guys like to learn how you can withdraw with inside the buffer with Take Profit Trader, then make sure to watch this next video right here.